Good evening. Good evening. It is I, Ronkar, and it is my pleasure to be with you in this evening. I always find the little one rather amusing in her attitudes, and she always has to make sure you know that she is coming back to say goodbye. You should not hang up until she says goodbye to you. So it is a pleasure to be with you again in this evening. Once again, this evening's meditation has concentrated on you as God. It's a concept that is sometimes very hard to accept for people in the physical world. They may know and believe that God created everything there is, and as God was only the only thing in the beginning, that everything that came about into manifestation has to be created from the self of God, from God himself, from the substance of his own being. So that means your whole earth and all this creation are but extensions of God in some way. And you, as part of this creation, of course, are made of the God stuff. And while you can accept that the earth, the universe, the stars, everything is part of God and is made up of God's being, it's hard to think of yourself as God. It is very hard, and I understand that. But I want to promote that feeling within each of you, to be aware and to know that you truly are God. To know that if you wish it and you proclaim it and you take it, your words are the same as God's words. Your actions are God's actions. For how else can God act within this universe, on this world, but through you? You do that service for God in every day. And so if you, in your normal state of being, can embrace the fact that I am God, and that my words, your words, and my actions, your actions, are truly the actions of God. God impels you and propels you to do all the things that are good in your life. Sometimes you are distracted by that outer world, which is but a creation of your own mind and your own thinking and your own consciousness. You create the world that is around you quite literally. While I know it seems to be solid, that and objective and not part of yourself, it's certainly not imaginary. It does exist. But what you see and what you know about the things that are around you are but reflections of yourself and the things that you think and the things you think about and your opinions and your ideas. Yes, your opinions do create the world in which you live. And it is important that you try to be open to information and not to quickly form opinions, because your opinions frequently stifle the truth of situations and the understanding of situations, because you have made a judgment. Your mind is made up. Your opinion is there, and it is strong, and it does not allow you to be open and to find new truths and new understandings in what is going on around you. Because you are strong in your own right. Your consciousness, while it is a part of God's consciousness, and your mind, while it is a part of God's mind, is capable of acting outside of that influence, to making judgments, to looking about you. And while I wish to say you can be deceived by what you think that you see, and you are certainly aware of that if you were to watch any magician doing his music act, his magic act. He does many fantastic things, creating things out of nowhere, bringing pigeons out of scarves by having things disappear in midair, by sawing people in half, by being in one container and coming out another container. Or another place, showing up at the back of the auditorium or something like that. You have all seen fantastic magic acts and the workings of other people. And of course, you know that this is sleight of hand, that this is illusion, and that what you saw with your own eyes was not truly what happened. It just happened in a blink, or he distracted you, or he took a different, in some way, he was able to distract you and then show you what he wanted you to see. And while you know that it is all an illusion, it is still delightful in your fantasy. But it is the truth also that if your mind is capable of deluding you as to what you are seeing and what you are observing, because it is selectively picking out things for you to see, to know, and to understand. It does not let you know everything unless you have trained it to be quiet so that you can understand things. And so you can work at eliminating illusions from your life by simply stating that you wish to let go of all illusions in your opinions and your ideas, so that you can see things clearly and accurately. You see, these statements, these affirmations about your abilities shapes what you actually can do. Or you have heard that saying, aphorism, that whether you believe you can or you believe you can't, you are correct. That is because your mind determines whether you can do things or whether you can't do things. And you can choose to make the decision that you can't do something that you want to do, that it is denied you, that you don't deserve it. There are many things that you tell yourself which limit yourself. Now, some of this comes about as a natural part of growing up. Once upon a time, you may have thought you could fly. But the truth of the matter is that people are not built for flying with their only arms, and so that you are bound to fail. If you jump off the roof and you flap your arms really hard, you are still going to hit the ground just as hard as if you didn't flap your wings or your arms, because it's not true that human beings can fly, even if you wish you would like to. You can only fly in your mind, and there is nothing to stop you from doing that and enjoying a flight above the rest of the world and imagining what you see and bringing that into your mind. But the actuality means that you must have a flying machine or a balloon or some way of getting you up in the air. Otherwise, you will not be able to stay aloft very long. You know, it'll only be an instant before gravity takes hold. And no matter how hard you jump, you always come back to Earth. So there are things that you learned as a child that, yes, I truly cannot fly. I have that limitation. And so there are many things that children can imagine that they can do, but their imaginings become curtailed. And then they get messages from family members, teachers, and even their friends and playmates that you can't do that, you can't do that. that's not right, or that's impossible. You are wrong. And maybe you can do that, but you don't always know that you can or you can't. If you know by the laws of physics and the rules of science that something can be done, there is no reason you cannot do it. It depends upon how hard you want to work and what you want to manifest in your life. You are unlimited in potential. There are many things, true, that you cannot do, but they are limitations of the physical, not limitations of the mind or the understanding or the consciousness. And so if you want to have a happy life, you can decide to be happy. Just state that I am happy. There have been many times you have probably thought, I will be happy when I am finished school. I will be happy when I turn 21. I will be happy when I get married. I will be happy when I become a grandmother. I will be. Why are you putting off your happiness until some event in the future? State, I am happy now, and see and seek a reason to be happy. Just by affirming the fact that you are happy and you are smiling at the same time can make you feel happy and make you feel good. I am happy because I have just finished eating dinner. I am happy because I have just finished the dishes. I have cleaned my kitchen. I am happy because it is a beautiful day today. The temperature is not too hot. The skies were blue. Everything was going good today. It was a happy day for me outside. The world was happy. The birds were happy. Why not you? Because you didn't affirm it. You didn't say, I am happy that it is a beautiful day. I am happy that I am alive today. I am happy that everything is going well today. And no matter how busy you are, if you affirm while you are busy that everything is going well and things are good, you can still enjoy the moment, even if it is demanding upon you both emotionally, mentally, or physically, because you have predetermined your reaction. That is similar to being opinionated. You can have opinions that make you feel better and happier, as well as opinions that limit yourself and opinions that you can and cannot do things, or opinions that this is not a good thing. You can have the opinion that it was a good day, and it is a good day, and it's a good moment now. It just takes you choosing to think these things while they are happening in your life, to acknowledge whatever it is that is going on as being good for you. You know, we often have problems, or you often have problems in the physical world. When I was in my body, then of course I had similar physical problems. But if you decide that although this problem is vexing and you are having difficulty getting around it or solving that problem, if you know in your heart and in your mind, and you do know this, that when you have solved the problem, you will be smarter. You will have learned something. You will be able to apply what you have learned to similar situations, so that life will be easier for you in the future. Every time you have a difficulty and you manage to come out of it, you have learned something, you have grown. And so you can bless your difficulties because they were the reasons why you got smarter and why you learned more things. And the smarter you become, the more competent you become, the happier you can be. because you can see the way the world works and know that everything turns out all right in the end. Sometimes the most horrific of experiences that you must get through will come to an end in some way. And you will merely thank God that it is over, that you no longer have to experience this thing that has happened to you. People who have been in prison, prisoner of war camps, the people, the Jews who were placed in concentration camps. And there have been people placed in concentration camps, held as slaves through the centuries. For unfortunately, man has not always been kind to other men, for whatever reason. But did it make them happy to be unkind and unmerciful to other people? Probably not, because that type of behavior turns your insides bad. You attract to yourself that which you give out. And so if you give out anger, unhappiness, so it is that you will see anger and unhappiness everywhere in your life, because you yourself are creating it and you are putting it there in your life. So choose to be happy. Choose to think happy thoughts, to be peaceful with what is happening, to enjoy whatever is happening, even if it's a challenge and difficult, to choose to be happy over it. Because in choosing happiness in your life, that's what you experience. You experience happiness. In seeking always to create peace in your world, to be at peace with others, means that what you will experience, peacefulness. To think of yourself as being rich and having more than enough of everything that you want or you need or you desire. But the truth is, you probably already do have more than enough. You are far from poor. And so that is what you experience in your life, prosperity. Choose to create the world that you want to live in by taking the actions, making the decisions that move you in that direction. Give out that which you wish to receive. The love of others, send love to others and they will love you back. Forgive others and you will be forgiven. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Make your world beautiful, happy, wonderful place. And I hope you have enjoyed this thoughts. If there are any questions that you have on what I have spoken in this evening or other questions you would like answered, please unmute yourself and ask these questions now.
Roncor, it's Diana. I want to thank you because one of the special events of the evening for me is when you speak to us and you give us this knowledge, and it's so helpful to me. Last week, I don't have my notes, but last week we talked about being 3 parts of the self, or of who you are. And the second part was your subconscious. Yes. And you said that's really what forms the world you live in, or what your life is. Being subconscious, do we unconsciously bring things into our life we don't want, and how can we stop ourselves from doing that? I mean, I think that, one little trick I do, probably based on a lot of what you have said, and Norma, is to just always be in the presence of something happy, not allow myself to be in the presence of a sadness or, a disagreement or whatever.
Well, you have asked two questions there.
Yes.
And the first question being, does our unconscious create bad things for us to experience from time to time? And it can, and it often does, but a lot of it depends upon your programming from when you were a child, because the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind, simply accepts everything that is said to it as being the truth. So if you were scolded by your parents and told that you didn't deserve something in life, whether it was dessert for dinner or um, something else that you wanted, that constant message of you're not deserving things that you want would make the unconscious mind believe that you truly did not deserve these things. And if that belief is particularly strong within yourself, that it was programmed to you, and you may be aware of it because you might have diminished self-esteem or lacking in self-confidence, but many people often are not aware of it. Their unconscious mind can create things which stop them from enjoying what they would like to enjoy, such as there are people who, as they are close to obtaining a goal, will suddenly become sick or ill, have perhaps a serious illness, which may stop them from completing what they need to complete to reach that goal. And as a result, that is something that happens through the subconscious mind because of prior programming. There are many people who've gotten the message they don't deserve something, or they had a belief such as money isn't important and we can all be happy without money. Now, that is quite a childish belief because money is the way in which the exchange by which people provide themselves with goods and services. And so it is a medium of exchange. It is neither good nor bad, but it is important within your society, since you do not barter directly. And as a result, you have to use money. And for people who thought that money was bad because it was a symbol of greed, to have too much money, then therefore they may find themselves at a later date not getting the money that they need to provide for everything that they want in their lives. And so you can see the conflict that that would set up once you move beyond a rather childish view that money isn't necessary to living as an adult where money is necessary. Now you have a conflict that you have set up. And all this can be caused by the subconscious mind, which has absorbed things that it believes to be true. Now, this is when use of affirmations is very helpful for yourself. For you can affirm many times that money is good. You enjoy money and you're happy to have money in your life. And you can overcome that prior programming by continually saying the affirmations, which then begin to impress on this unconscious mind a different viewpoint. And you might almost look at it as it is just a matter of what has been said the most. Whether it's you telling yourself that money is good and you deserve money and you like money and you are happy to have money in your life, versus how many times you voiced the opinion that money was not good and you didn't need to have money in your life. As soon as you have said that money is more important than other things, then you will find that you have more money in your life because you have changed the unconscious mind's understanding of money from being unnecessary to being necessary and important for yourself. So that can be applied in every way. If someone told you you were ugly or one of your body parts was ugly, you probably accepted that. But that may stop you from feeling beautiful. And as a result, you would have to work on the fact that you are beautiful and I am beautiful to be seen. And people find me to be beautiful. Or I have a beautiful complexion, I have beautiful hair, I have beautiful eyes, I have a perfect nose and a wonderful mouth. You see, you have to overcome what has ever been said to you in the past to re-educate your subconscious mind. Now, the second part, your question had to do right at the end. And now I have talked so long that I has gone almost out of my mind, but there was something about laughter. Do you remember what it was you said to me?
Yes, it's very, yes, about laughter. If negative thoughts are coming in, I work very hard, it's just about what you were saying before, to replace them, to put myself in situations that are fun and funny and positive.
Yes, well, that is excellent. You do not have, sometimes you are not able to change your situation. You just have to change your opinion or your judgment about what is happening. You do not have to go from this is terrible to this is wonderful, or stop and interrupt what you're doing and try to find something that is more appealing to yourself. You can feel neutral about that which you are experiencing. In other words, don't be angry with it. Don't be unhappy with it. Just simply say it is what it is and accept it the way it is. It's not exactly what I wanted, but I can put up with this for now because this is temporary. So you do not always have to distract yourself. Yes, it's an excellent thing to do, particularly if it's a thought that has come into your mind, to think about something that is much happier and is more harmonious to yourself. That is the kind of discipline over your mind that you seek to obtain through meditation. Because by meditating on something, whatever it is you choose to meditate on, by practicing meditation, you gain control over your conscious mind. And it becomes easier for you to say, I am not thinking about this right now. I am going to think of something that is happy and take the tack that you are using. So you perhaps, whether or not you have practiced meditation, have a strong enough mind, and you are in control of your mind enough to be able to do what you have said to me, that you find things to distract yourself and think about. That's a deliberate shift that you are making in your conscious mind to think of something else. And as a result, that is an excellent technique, and it is what propels you down that path of happiness. Because every time you choose to not think about something that is disturbing to you or makes you unhappy, choosing to think about things that are good or happy in the situation, or transforming that which you are thinking into a neutral situation. Well, this will get over with soon, and I will not have to put up with this in 5 more minutes, and I will just be tolerant and wait for it to finish. Then you will have reframed, and that is a good term. I believe you are very familiar with it. You reframe a situation to look at it in a different way that is more compatible and harmonious to yourself. So you have 2 things that go on: choosing to look at something in a different way, reframing it, as well as choosing to think about something different. And you use both those things from time to time, I'm well aware. And as a result, you create you are getting more practice in creating a life that is harmonious and happy to yourself. And that grows and becomes a habit.
Yes.
So that
Yes.
when it becomes a habit, then it happens so quickly, you experience very little, I will say, downtime.
Yes, no, I think it's true. Thank you so much. Both answers were so incredibly helpful to me. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Are there other questions?
Hmm.
Well, no one has a question.
I actually have
Okay,
another one,
this
but
is
go ahead,
Charlotte.
Charlotte. Yeah, go ahead, Charlotte. Sorry.
Charlotte,
Yeah.
did you have a question?
Yes. Okay. I think I'm being overheard, and so I'm trying to speak quietly. But my son is going through a very tough time, and is there any way of knowing that he's going to be okay? Get through this ordeal. It's
I
very
do
difficult.
understand your concern because you are a mother and you love your son and you wish everything well for him. And so what you need to do is affirm that he will do very well in this situation, that everything will turn out well for him. You see, it is truly his responsibility to do these things, but you can help other people. It is similar to when we send healing to others. When you send healing to others on the healing night, that they should be asking for their own healing. But many times people don't think to ask others. And how are you truly affecting them when you send them the healing energies and the healing thoughts? You are affirming that they are well and healthy, that they are receiving whatever it is they need to improve their lives, to have things come out the right way. Now, you heard my talk and the fact that you are God. And if you can believe that, if you can know that as God, you can influence what happens in his life. You can send him the right opportunities. You can send him the right thoughts. Now, has free will. He does not have to accept the things that you are sending. And so frequently people do not accept the wishes of others. But as God, when you speak from your God presence, when you make an affirmation that your son is well, that he is healthy, that he has solved the problems, that he has figured out what it is that he needs to do to make everything come out right in his life, then you are sending that and shaping the world for that to happen. All that is going to take is him responding with the right attitudes and seeking to find the right what it is that he needs to do. And so this is what, if you speak as God and you believe you are God and you have faith, that is what it is usually called. If you have faith, but it is if you have belief in your ability to inspire him, to help him find what he needs to find in his world. So it is. I can't put it any other way. You will have sent the energy that is necessary for him to respond in the right ways. Now, this may not happen simply because people do not always respond. Remember that God has given each of us free will. So therefore, he has the free will not to take the opportunities. Perhaps you have heard that story which illustrates this. There was a flood in the town. I'm going to tell you the story. There is a flood in the town and the streets, and they have ordered everyone to evacuate the town because there is going to be a flood. The river is rising, it's coming up in the streets, evacuate. And so a person knocks on the minister's door and says, Reverend, it's time to evacuate. You must leave here now. And the Reverend says, thank you very much, but God will provide. And later on, the water has gotten quite deep and it is beginning to enter his house. And a man comes by in a boat and he says, Reverend, hop in. I'll take you to safer, better locations. And he says, thank you very much, my son. But the Lord will provide. And then there is, now it has flooded his first floor. He is now at the second floor. Well, before long, he's sitting on his roof and his house is almost totally submerged in water. And somebody comes by in a helicopter and says, I'll drop you a line. Hold on and we'll get you off that roof. And he says, do not worry, my son, the God will provide. And then, of course, the story is that his house collapses, he's swept away in the flood, and he dies. And he goes before God at the final judgment. And he said, God, why did you let me die? And God says to him, I sent you someone to the door to tell you to evacuate. I sent someone with a boat to take you to safety, and I sent you a helicopter. What else was I supposed to do? Now, that is the example of how people can have it in their mind that they do not have to do certain things. And
Right.
so, or they do not want to do certain things. You cannot control that. I mean, you can do your usual mother stuff and give him your advice, but in your thinking, you can send him the opportunities and know that he will have the right thoughts and the right abilities and take the right actions and know that he will solve the problem and his own problems.
Yes.
And when you know that and you believe that to be true, you have done everything that you can. And if you believe these opportunities come to him, things will work out for him in the best way. And you, of course, will, as a mother, urge him to take certain steps and to do certain things. But that is all that you can do. And speaking as God and directing the universe that it should provide to him the answers that he needs and the solutions that he needs to find. If he finds these things, you truly can influence that which is about to happen to him. He still has free will. He still can decide that it didn't come the way he wanted it to come, so therefore he has difficulty. He doesn't like that solution, and he'll continue to do that and ignore it. But that is the problem with free will. God has given each of us free will, and we can determine what we would like to do.
Yeah.
And we can take advantage of those things he sends to us, or we can reject them because we think we know better.
Yeah. Unfortunately, a part of the problem is he's in a very toxic relationship and there are children involved. There's a little girl who's going to be 3 next week and a baby who is 7 months old. He's in the next room and he's talking to her now. She lives in Dallas, Texas, but she's an alcoholic. She has a drinking problem and she's treating him so badly. She doesn't want him to come back. He's back here because his house was destroyed in that snowstorm. The water main pipe broke because he was away from home. He was in Texas and did a lot of water damage. Ceilings caved in and walls collapsed and all the pipes, so there was no power. And
well, he will simply have to speak with his insurance company.
They canceled him.
Because he did not pay his bill?
No, because he wasn't there and he didn't report it. So he's trying to do something
well,
about.
he can send to write to the insurance commission for the state and
Yeah.
see if they can put some pressure on his insurance company to reconsider what is happening.
Right. Because
And he might also find out other programs that might be available to himself.
okay, he's trying to do that. Yeah, thank you. I'm sorry I wasn't able to, go into detail because he
No,
is in
that
the
is
next room.
fine. I understand.
I understand now he's on the phone with her, but because of her, she's so demeaning and treats him so terribly. Is there some way that I should pray for her as well, of course,
Of course,
yeah.
it is always good to pray for someone who is a nemesis, so to speak, someone
Yes.
who is, because that helps you overcome your dislike and your unhappiness over this situation. It may help her to find peace and harmony. And you pray for her that she finds the peace and harmony that she desires.
Thank you. I really appreciate your help. Thank you.
You are most welcome. Yes, praying for those who cause us difficulty is an excellent thing. Because you send out the hand that it offers love, and it can change the relationship that you have with that person. Now, it will be hard for you to change the relationship that your son has with his wife or girlfriend, whatever. But that is beyond your control, and all you can do is affirm that the greatest good will come out of this situation. Do you understand? And be open to what that greatest good is. It may become obvious to you and to him at some point in time what it is he needs to do, both for his own well-being, his own health, for the health and well-being of his children and himself, and do what is best for himself and his children. That is all that he can do.
Right. Okay. Thank you. I had to hear this because, I knew that this too shall pass, but sometimes you have to hear it from someone else that,
It may not have the happy ending that you desire
No,
or
it
the
may
way
not.
you think it should be.
It may not, I know.
But at some point in time, you will see that whatever the ending is, it was for the best for himself and the situation.
Right.
And yourself.
Right. Okay, thank you. Yeah, okay. I don't want to monopolize this whole thing, but in a way, I'm very thankful that he did not marry her yet, because that would even be more difficult if they were married at this point, with all that's happening.
You are correct.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Are there any other questions or people would like to ask a question?
Yarankat?
Yes, Mahesh.
You said this is all an illusion. And if we want to experience the reality, or if we want to see the reality, we should drop all the opinions and judgments and quiet our mind.
Yes.
Is this a surrender?
I'm sorry,
is this a surrender to what is? Like we surrender to the now, or surrender to what is? So whatever it is.
Well, the truth of the matter is that you cannot experience the objective reality, because the only way that you can know what is around you is through your senses, the things that you see, the things that you feel. And so everything from your senses comes into your brain, and your brain interprets all those all those sensations and vibrations and whatever it is hearing or seeing. It is not these objects. It is a vibration that is coming off these objects and your brain is interpreting it. So everything that you see, you hear, you feel, you touch, and all your emotions are created by your brain. So that is why everything is an illusion. Yes, if you can drop your opinions, and you can drop your preconceived notions or your ideas of what is best and be open to understanding what is best or what is truly there, then your vision becomes clearer because you just have a greater understanding of what is happening and what is going on. It doesn't always make you know exactly what you should do or what you should say in the circumstance, but it can give you a sense of understanding it and being at peace with the situation. So it is good to let go of any illusions that are strong illusions and strong beliefs. And by simply saying, I let go of any illusions, opinions, thoughts, which might stop me from understanding things clearly and accurately. Just by making that affirmation, you are opening yourself up to new visions and new understanding. And that is what you want to do, particularly if you are in circumstances that you can't figure out a solution for in your life at this particular time, because your old way of thinking has brought you to this way of being and this situation. So you need to transform what you think. And the only way you can do that is by letting go of your old thoughts, your old opinions, your old beliefs, and being open to new ones and new understanding. Now, you cannot get rid of everything, but by simply affirming that you want to understand and that you releasing old habits and old thoughts to find new truths and new understanding, that's when new truths and new understanding will start coming to yourself, because you have made the affirmation that you wish to be open to receive, to know, to understand things in a different way. And when your eyes are open to these things in a different way, that's when your world is transformed. You may not see, you may have many opinions you do not realize how they affect your life in every day. But when you make that affirmation, you may suddenly start seeing things, or many things, or just some things, a little bit differently. And you will say, now I understand why people are like that, or why the situation is that way, or why did someone build this way? You'll be able to understand other people and other things more. And as your understanding grows, so it is that you can make changes in your life that you may desire to make, simply because you'll have newer ideas and newer ways of being. I
Yes,
hope that's helpful.
yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are there other questions?
I have one more question. You
Yes.
you took us through, we were taken through a meditation where we opened up the third eye and we let God enter, or at least let ourselves become one with God, our consciousness, our conscious brain. Now, is that a way of lifting ourselves above the all the things that hold us back, our judgments and our wrong perceptions, by just opening up the third eye and seeing that, and seeing that we're one with God and in God's consciousness?
Yes, this being one with God by going through the third eye in that way, so it is in your mind and finding God, being one with God in your mind. And then you can ask for solutions to problems, new perceptions. You can ask God to just mention it, that this needs to change. And how can this, you would like to see this changed. It may be changed in your mind, it may be changed elsewhere, but you're putting forth God's energy to take solutions and create solutions in your life.
Okay.
That is one reason for using it and knowing it. And of course, if you are having a personal problem with an issue, a feeling that, or a hurt, or something that continues to nag you and bother you, this is an excellent way to take that thought and leave it with the God in your mind, the oneness you have with God, and give it to God for transformation and say, I can't help but feel this all the time. Please take this. I leave this thought with you and transform it into something compatible, something good, something that I can accept, so that I can forget this incident, so I can forgive, so that I can move ahead in my life.
Excellent.
So this is a technique for changing your life. Yes.
I thought it felt very powerful. Thank you very much, Renko.
You're welcome. Are there other questions? And I think perhaps it is getting near time to stop. So I will give you all my blessings. Good night. Hi, I'm back.
Bye.
Okay, well, I hope you have enjoyed this evening very much. And we thank you all for attending. We thank you for your questions, and we thank you for the opportunity to be of service. So remember, I love you all. Good night.